Who doesn't love a Caribbean vacation? The beautiful weather, warm water, and white sand beaches, and luckily we have multiple ways to enjoy a little slice of paradise in a convenient package. Hi guys, Vanessa here, and welcome to Passport Pages. And in today's video, we're taking a side-by-side look at Caribbean cruise versus all-inclusive resort, as they both have their own pros and cons. So to help you decide which one is a better fit for you, we're putting them head-to-head by specific categories, from activities, to dining, to type of trip, just every category that would matter on your getaway. So whether you're an all-inclusive resort pro or a first-time cruiser, you will find something helpful for your future travels. So let's jump right into it. So the first category we'll take a look at is which one is better for romantic getaways. So let's start with all-inclusive resorts. And I have to say, if you're familiar with my reviews, you'll know that this is definitely one way that all-inclusives have really improved in recent years. Back when I was a kid, you'd hear all these stories about crappy buffet food and cheesy entertainment in the 90s and early 2000s. And then I'd say from about 2010 onward, the industry really took a turn for the better. And if you watch my reviews and shop around, you can find some incredibly romantic all-inclusive resort options that are perfect for honeymoons and anniversaries and just random couples getaways. Who needs a reason, right? And many of them have candlelight dinner for two options with beautiful settings and are either adults only or at least have adults only pools and sections of the beach. And I've talked a lot in my reviews about how the bigger all-inclusives have beautiful gardens and grounds sprinkled with hammocks and benches for nice romantic strolls during the day, and even nicer at night with fire pits and lanterns. Just a lovely atmosphere for any romantic stay where you can get a lot of alone time. Now, as far as Caribbean cruises go, I'm sure some of you will disagree, but they are more geared toward fun and socializing. Of course, there are some exceptions based on cruise line and itinerary, but generally speaking, cruises are a great way to meet new people and mingle, and they tend to cater toward families and groups and even singles. And if you're more about socializing than romance, since most cruisers share the same general itinerary, you'll have plenty of opportunities to make new friends along the way. As far as couples go, you have your time in your cabin and even during shore excursions to share some romantic moments. But generally speaking, it's a bit tougher to do. So my pick for romantic getaways is the all-inclusive resort. Next up, hurricane season. And this isn't as obvious a category as it might seem. So I've said many times on my channel, while hurricane season is technically June through November, most of the action occurs from August through October. And since we celebrate our wedding anniversary in September, we've had many trips ruined because of hurricanes. The upside of that is it's a great time for deals on both flights and resorts because most travelers don't want to deal with the risk. So this time let's start with cruises. And believe it or not, the odds that a tropical storm or hurricane will impact or ruin your trip is actually pretty slim. So stating the obvious, but if a storm or hurricane develops, cruises will redirect their routes, plus they'll usually refund you for any port fees if your shore excursions get canceled, and even give you a prorated reimbursement if your trip ends up being shorter than originally planned, as in a day or more shorter. I can tell you from firsthand experience that all-inclusive resorts have some of the best deals in the fall season, and far fewer crowds. But most of their hurricane policies are much iffier than those on a Caribbean cruise. So you really have to research your specific resort's hurricane guarantee. And as I say in like every other video, always get travel insurance when you're going during hurricane season, so you know you'll get a refund in the event of a hurricane. Because if you don't and you go directly to the resort for a refund or even a prorated rate, I can guarantee you won't get anything back without travel insurance. And of course, you can always pick one of the ABC islands to stay, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curaçao, which are outside of the hurricane belt. But overall, I give this category to the Caribbean cruise. Now to a fun category, island hopping. I'll say right off the bat, if you're looking for a way to explore half a dozen beautiful and historic islands and ports around the Caribbean without having to get on dozens of flights, the Caribbean cruise is the way to go. Especially if you're new to the Caribbean, you'll get a taste of several islands over your trip, usually anywhere from 6 to 9 hours, and then return to the ship for dinner. So it's not an in-depth experience of each place by any means, but it gives you enough of a taste that you can decide which ones you like enough to make a full vacation of it later on, almost like future travel planning. And that's where the all-inclusive comes in. As I've talked about in many of my videos, most of the bigger brands have multiple locations right next to each other, so you can enjoy their amenities and dining and multiple resorts, which is perfect if the island hopping thing sounds exhausting and you prefer to visit one Caribbean island at a time, but still want a bit of variety. However, if you're looking to check out multiple tropical islands, maybe you have a bucket list of places you've always wanted to visit, grab some souvenirs and see the sights at each one, then the cruise is the ideal way of seeing them all in a quick and easy way, making the Caribbean cruise the clear island hopping winner. Now to one of the most important categories, in my opinion, the rooms. So most major cruise lines like Royal Caribbean and Carnival usually offer 4 basic cabin or stateroom categories, around 150 to 200 square feet. And while it does depend on the time of year and itinerary, I will say splurging for a balcony cabin is usually worth the upgrade. My husband insists on it because you'll really spend a lot of time sitting out there and taking in the scenery. Most ships also have cabin options with special access to exclusive areas like the spa and lounges, and if you plan on using those areas a lot, especially the spa, it might be worth a splurge for that as well. But of course, if you'd like to travel on a budget, you can save quite a bit by booking an inside or obstructed view cabin or even a porthole one. Although you definitely won't want to spend as much time in your room and will be using the common areas a lot more in these cases, which is not a problem with all the activity options that mega ships offer these days. But unless you're traveling on Crystal or Viking, Regent is another amazing line, your cabins won't be luxurious by any means, unless of course you're splurging for a presidential suite, and those are crazy pricey. So not that much flexibility and options for cruise staterooms, generally speaking. Now, as many of you know, I truly believe that all-inclusive rooms have gotten amazing in recent years, and they run the gamut in terms of view categories, with bay views, beach views, pool views, garden views, city views, on and on. And again, of course, there are exceptions, I'm not denying that, but generally speaking, the rooms and bathrooms, especially bathrooms, at an all-inclusive are going to be much bigger and more comfortable in general. And that's just for your run-of-the-mill basic all-inclusive resort. I've shown you guys in many videos how some of these more upscale, luxury all-inclusives have rooms and suites that are honestly an experience in and of themselves, with incredible balconies and terraces, with your own private plunge pool, and huge spa-worthy bathrooms, and incredible finishes like marble and hardwood floors, just super nice and plush. No, they're not the budget choice. That would definitely be a more basic cabin on a cruise. But in terms of options, space, luxury, and amenities, the all-inclusive rooms are the clear-cut winner. So which one is best for a Caribbean beach vacation? Well, if like me, your idea of a perfect Caribbean vacation is lounging on a perfect beach, swimming and snorkeling in warm water, and taking your time to enjoy your surroundings, then a beachside all-inclusive is the right choice for you. You'll get more time and even freedom to enjoy long walks on the beach, a relaxing massage right on the beach while listening to the crashing waves. You can go swimming any time of the day or night. Your time is your own to enjoy it however you want. I've reviewed many all-inclusives that sit right on beautiful beaches, and your only concern is reserving your lounger early enough in the day so you have the perfect spot. And I've told you guys which resorts have that issue. So a perfect way to enjoy a relaxing Caribbean beach vacation. Of course, there's no question that you can enjoy the beach on a Caribbean cruise as well. But your time is usually limited to daytime port of calls, and sometimes you'll even have to wait in longer lines to exit the ship in the morning, and maybe even have to get your own transportation to the beach. So I have a few tips for your beach days. Check for local resorts that offer day passes for a fee. I know many cruisers find my channel looking for those resorts, so I'll be doing a video on the best ones that offer those daytime passes. Or you could also look for the closest public beach at your port of call that offers loungers and on-site refreshments for a fee. But my biggest tip is to always leave plenty of time to get back to the ship and factor in traffic time, since you'll usually have to be back on board 30 minutes before departure. And trust me, the ship won't wait for you. So the winner here is the all-inclusive resort. So now let's look at activities, and most cruise lines, especially the mega ships, will give you a daily newsletter that lists all the scheduled activities and events going on, and there are a ton, from movies to exercise classes, arts and crafts, cooking shows, live performances, dance parties, just on and on. And on some of the pricier lines like Viking and Crystal, you get lectures from acclaimed authors and researchers, many of them tying into your specific ports of call, so you'll be very knowledgeable on the area when you disembark. And I will say, if you're a planner, take note that some of the more popular activities like surf simulations and spa treatments, and especially shore excursions that you can book through your cruise, like zip lining and parasailing and ATV tours, those are all the most popular things to do usually on Caribbean cruises. So they fill up quickly, especially during peak season. So book early, and the bonus of that is they're usually cheaper the further out you book. So plenty of activities to do on most cruise ships, which has become the main reason people book cruises. These days, the cruise itself and all its activities are even more appealing than the destinations. All-inclusive resorts can also have a good variety of both land and water activities, but of course, it does depend on the quality of resort you choose. But I've shown you guys in pretty much every video how you can choose from all kinds of non-motorized water sports, bike rentals, volleyball tournaments, archery, all types of food and alcohol tastings, evening shows and entertainment. And just like cruises, most of the big chain all-inclusives provide a daily newsletter of all the event options. Plus, they usually have on-site tour operators that are solely dedicated to reserving some of the more complicated activities like deep sea fishing, off-site hikes, and sunset cruises. And unlike cruises, in my experience, you usually don't need much notice to book activities through your resort. Usually the week or even day of will work, so that does give you a lot more flexibility if you maybe want to wait till you arrive and get settled and kind of feel comfortable with your surroundings first before you decide on your activities. But I will say that both options offer plenty of activities with constantly changing schedules, so you're never bored. So I actually say this one is a tie between the two. They're both very strong in this category. Now to what many of you consider to be the whole point of booking an all-inclusive vacation, the food and drinks. So these days, pretty much every major cruise ship has at least several dining options on board with a lot of variety, so you never have to worry about eating the same thing over and over. And most are included with your passage, but many ships also have specialty dining options that are a bit more upscale, and those are an extra fee. And it's nice to book at least one night at one of these specialty places for an extra special dining experience. Some cruises, not all, but some, do charge extra for specialty drink packages outside of your basic beverages, so you could have a bill at the end of your voyage for that. So definitely research all drink and dining packages, because each cruise line varies and you have to decide for yourself if it's worth the extra cost. But there's definitely something very special about dining out on the water that makes cruise dining a completely unique and special event. As far as all-inclusive resorts go, you've seen in my videos that both quality and variety greatly depend on the overall quality of the all-inclusive brand and even resort that you've booked, but especially the brand. Generally speaking, in my experience, when you stay at a mid-range resort, you'll usually get one main buffet for all 3 meals, and then some specialty options for dinner like Italian, French, or Asian cuisine, and your choice of house wines, domestic beer, and generic liquors. Upscale all-inclusive resorts, on the other hand, now have incredibly impressive multi-course menus made by Michelin-starred chefs and include top-shelf liquor. And I talk about it all the time, but some of these upscale all-inclusives truly offer some of the best dining experiences in the world. And another benefit is when you stay at an all-inclusive, you usually get the options of either dining at sister resorts nearby, also included in your stay, or many resorts include dining out packages. And I've reviewed some of those in my videos where you can go into the local towns and enjoy cuisine native to the area as part of your dining package, unlike a cruise where you'll usually confine to your ship once you return in the evening for dinner. But with that being said, I think there are equal options for variety, quality, unique dining experiences, and just pros and cons to both, making this one another tie. Now to a category that most travelers don't really consider, but probably should, and that would be technology. And trust me, when you're on vacation and desperately trying to get Wi-Fi access, you'll wish you had. So I'd say as a general rule, most all-inclusive resorts offer free Wi-Fi, and if this is a deal breaker for you, I'd confirm with the resort just to make sure in advance, but we've never had a problem with that. Cruises, on the other hand, can be a little trickier, of course, since you're relying on satellites for access, but in recent years it has gotten much better, faster, and cheaper thanks to newer satellites and direct ship-to-shore systems, so it's not as much of a problem as it used to be. And a tip: first check if your phone carrier has a cruise talk, text, and data plan. Then as soon as you board, make sure to switch to airplane mode so you're not connected to their network. And lastly, talk to a concierge about what the prices and conditions are for internet access. I always say vacation is a great time to unplug and enjoy your surroundings and loved ones, but emergencies happen and we all need to stay in touch with people back home. So you always want to make sure you know the best way to do that. So in terms of both ease of usage and price, I give this one to the all-inclusive resort. Which means that the Caribbean all-inclusive does win by a couple points, which I know will upset all the die-hard cruisers, but honestly, both all-inclusive options are a great way to enjoy a Caribbean vacation, and I really hope that this video will help you with your vacation planning. If you'd like to see more cruise content on my channel, or have any requests for content you'd like to see more of, please let me know in the comments. This is Vanessa for Passport Pages. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye, guys.